Welcome to the Ellerium Games podcast. We are back from the Expo now, and we're doing our post-Expo podcast.
That's a terrible intro.
Welcome to the Ellerium Games podcast. We're back from the Expo and we're going to tell you all about it.
Cool.
That sounded better than your one.
It's identical, but better. So with us we have myself, we have always and annoyingly Breck.
Annoyingly?
Always. And then we have Iona, who was with us, and Leila, who just did a lovely intro.
Hiya.
Hello!
Good morning.
So, what are we going to talk about?
Do you want us to talk about the games that we highlighted beforehand?
Yeah, probably better. I mean, people probably want to hear what we mention as discuss what we saw. Obviously the game, and then any bonus stuff we've seen as well. So we just sort of go through some things we saw. We mentioned in the last podcast and how we felt about them, and then any bonuses or any surprises there was.
So to start with though, what were everybody's overall impressions of the Expo this year?
It was bigger. I must say it took up Hall 1, half of Hall 2, and then they used Hall 3 and half of Hall 2 for tournaments. So it did feel that little bit bigger.
Oh, it was a big event. It gets bigger every year.
Yeah, I reckon it's going to be pretty big next year.
But it was fun. I had fun.
Although I did feel this year, as I said to you a few times, that it felt that something was missing this year.
I never go looking for new games though.
No.
Everybody else does.
I don't go looking for new games.
I buy old games.
But I go looking to see what there is, and it just felt like anything that was there I either knew about or there wasn't many surprises.
No surprises.
Yeah.
Although I did play some interesting games that were new.
Yeah.
But I don't go looking for them.
It was fun. It's always a fun weekend. I found lots of interesting things. I was able to find most of the things I was looking for. Chatting to publishers was great, because normally I don't do that. I just go and play and take freebies. But actually talking to the publishers was interesting.
So now you went and played and took freebies and talked to publishers.
Exactly.
Nice.
And you got a couple of demo copy. You got a demo copy of a game to talk about.
Undo, which is one of the ones on my list.
Danny.
And Danny will be doing some reviews of that, which will hopefully get online sometime soon.
Oh.
Don't really have much to add. I got distracted by all the shinies, played new games.
We played in a tournament.
We played in a pandemic tournament.
You did alright, didn't you?
It were like fourth last to be knocked out. So
That's alright. That's
Yeah.
good.
out of 12.
Oh,
And
that's good then.
It was good fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. That was my first ever tournament.
Ooh.
So it was a lot of fun.
My favourite part of the Expo, by far, was giving the new nickname to Jason, Wee Whiskey Wilson.
Yay. Great. Although I think my favourite part was every time we started bickering, you could just see Chris boiling slowly and getting more and more annoyed.
Then we've done our job.
Yeah, I feel we succeeded.
Plus Breck then handing out cards
Yeah, we
to
do.
random people who were looking quite worried.
Yeah.
Hello to the fellas at the bus stop
If
who
you're listening, we appreciate you listening.
took the business cards and were giggling at our bickering.
For those of you who don't know, basically me and Breck were having a bit of an argument at the bus stop, going at each other, and then as we went to
All
walk
in
away,
fun, though. All in fun.
more or less, yeah. As we went to walk away, you kind of turned to the people that were laughing at us and says, "Don't worry, we do a podcast," and hand out business cards.
Yeah.
So hopefully they find it amusing enough to continue. We're
Yeah,
being
so thanks for listening.
yeah, it's great. I mean, thumbs up. They can't see the thumbs up in the mic. They're like, "Oh yeah." So
That was just for me.
yeah,
That
but it was good. So yeah, we've picked up some new listeners. Our Twitter's picked up some new followers and stuff. So that's quite nice. So people
Over 500 followers on
We're
Twitter.
515 now, I think. So yeah, lots of people. So people are interested in what we have to say, which is cool. So let's talk about some of the games we've seen. So
Right, so do you want to talk about some of the games we talked about in the last
Yes.
episode?
example,
Okay.
Undo.
Yeah, so Undo was from Pegasus Spiel, and the idea is that you go back into a person's life to try and stop them dying. And we had to go at a demo game of this.
Yeah,
which
an
was
oversized demo game that was specifically designed for the Expo.
It was designed for a demo because I spoke to them.
Yeah.
They specifically designed. There was only one copy of it.
Yeah.
And they designed it for demo purposes.
and it's not yeah, it's just to give me an idea of how it plays. Yeah,
Exactly, yeah. And it's nothing to do with the games that are actually out. It was called Drowned Hopes. And I think it was, I'm hoping, much shorter than a full game.
I think he was saying it was 5 cards instead of like a full 13.
Right,
I might be
okay.
making that up,
Yeah.
but
It was very small. Because when we seen it in the retail day, there was only a couple of cards out, and they just basically, if you pick this one, pick A, or this one's B, and you score points and stuff. So.
Now the thing about it though was it wasn't the length of it. I can understand that it was a short version of,
Yeah.
but there didn't seem to be that much going on in that short space of time. It was like, oh, turn over this card, read this, oh, then turn over this card, I get a point.
Well, you had to make choices.
Yeah.
But some of the choices seemed a bit obvious. So I'm wondering, did they really make it quite simple for the expo, or is that going to be the level?
The way they explained it as when we were checking it is like, it seemed like you get a couple of choices and you make your story up, and then you score points. Then I was like, so what's the principle of winning? He's like, to get to the end of the story. I'm like, but if I make a story up and player 2 makes a story up, how do we know when? And it didn't seem like there was. It seemed like a cooperative, but you had to earn points. So if it's cooperative, what's the point of the points? I didn't understand.
Well, the point of the points is that if you get a certain number of points, then the person doesn't die and you've won the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So it's definitely cooperative.
Okay.
it's not points as in the score per se, but
Well, that's the way he put it across to us, which
it's
is
more-
more weird.
you need a certain amount of points to reach a certain objective to win.
Yeah.
Well, they did give us a demo copy, so
Yeah, which I am looking forward to playing.
Yeah.
But we haven't had a chance just yet.
yeah, so we'll get a chance to check it out, and then we'll get up a review. I'm gonna get off my chest now because it's eating at me. Namiji, Fanforge, what a heap of crap.
Namiji.
Namiji, however you want to pronounce it, Namiji.
Now this was one you talked about before going that you were
It's
interested
from
in.
Fanforge. It's the predecessor. What's the one comes after? I can't remember the word.
spiritual successor?
It's like the it's the
Oh,
run of the letter that nobody wanted. They've tried to make it
no, right. So we're
garbage.
talking about Tokaido's sequel game.
Yeah, it is basically Tokaido reskin. in my
Precursor would be before.
Right, okay, so postcursor, if that's a word. But yeah, so basically it's Tokaido reskinned. It's a heap of garbage. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes about it. There was so much wrong with it. There was a section in it for fishing and a section for shrimping. Shrimping was nice because it pushed your luck element. I liked that. So you would get
Was
5
there a
tokens.
vegetarian section?
No, no. But you basically pull out tokens out of the bag. If you get 5 tokens and they're all shrimps, you're good. But at any point in that 5 tokens, you get 2 crabs, you lose a lot. So you can stop at any point. So you can go 1 shrimp, I'm out. You can go push your way to 5. They had the section on your board for fishing, which was so random and so broken that there's times you couldn't do anything, and it lost that to Kaido always being able to do something on your turn field. When we tried to discuss it with 2 of the people, they didn't seem to have a clue, which made it worse. If they'd gone, oh, okay, that I see what you mean, and sort of spoke through us, but every time they tried to say, oh, well, there's this example, and then we went, well, what about this? They were like, oh, well, you can't do that. I was like, well, then that's pointless. And then she was like, well, but if you do it this way, I'm like, so what about this? And like, oh, that's pointless. And it just felt like they didn't know. So if they don't know, then there's no way I'm playing it. Or
Also,
selling
I
it.
didn't like the look of the board as much as
Going in a circle.
yeah. I think the board on Tokaido looks
It's nice.
nicer.
It looks like a story.
So how far in its development is it? Is it still being developed, or is this basically ready for production?
From what I gathered on them, it's not far off.
Yeah, I think they're still waiting for the artwork to be finalised, but beyond that, it's...
So they think their gameplay is sorted.
Oh yeah,
then? Right.
and they're wrong because me, much to Chris's dismay, me and this other guy were arguing with them, the 2 people who were doing the stand, that they were wrong and they didn't know what they were doing, and they needed to look at it. Now I'm not exactly the top end board game designer myself, but as a player and as a store owner, I can see a fault in a game.
But also, you have done some design in the past as well.
I have, and I'm pretty good at breaking games. If there's a broken mechanic, I'll find it.
Yeah.
So I was pretty disappointed they weren't willing to listen. They were just like, oh no, that's the way it is, that's the way it is. I'm like, right, well, I'm not going to play your game. And at that point, I just kind of thumbed in the end of the last 10 minutes because I was just like, it's pointless. A waste of time. Yeah, I hate it. I'll never play it again.
Okay.
So
On that note,
Should we talk about some very pretty games?
yes.
So, Bosk,
Yeah, this is
which
the tree
is the
one.
trees and
Yeah.
leaves and squirrels. And it was very pretty. The idea is that you're following the seasons, you plant trees, the trees drop leaves, and then the scoring mechanism is a hiker who walks through this national park across the board, and you score based on the number of leaves you have.
Oh, okay.
really, a hiker?
Yeah,
I don't remember that bit.
What, the little thing that went across the board?
Wasn't that no?
Is that a
That
national
was-
park?
I honestly don't remember that bit.
It was a hiker, he had a
I remember a
backpack and
squirrel.
everything. The squirrel was to stop people overlaying your leaves.
Yeah.
So we had a good playthrough, and it was okay. I found myself a little bit disappointed.
Well, you're a big fan of trees in general.
I'm a big fan of trees, yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting, but lacked any real substance and depth. It's pretty. It's a nice game.
So
it was fairly quick.
Do you consider it more of like a beginner board game, kind of like Takedo or Catan sort of?
It was quite strategic in its own way.
It does have strategy.
It's fancy, it's simple, but there is deeper strategy if you want to put the effort in.
Yeah.
But I think I would steer people towards a different game for a gateway game.
So
it was interesting to get a shot of it. The pieces are lovely.
The components were lovely, yeah.
Some people are going to love it. Not really for me.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I probably might play it again, but I wouldn't buy it.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's actually coming out in July after that resounding recommendation.
Nice. But I mean, again, if you go by me and Breck's recommendation of games, you never play anything because we hate everything.
It's not a bad game by
it's
any
probably
means.
it's probably a good family game then.
Maybe, but it's a little bit lacking.
But we do like hard, deep, long games. Like
No, but I can appreciate it. I mean, there's some other games that we've looked at while we were there, and
they've grabbed you in.
and they've been even more simple and family type
Shuffle.
games. Yeah, Kid in the Shuffle was a good game.
I bought that. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I played it. It's good.
The Flippy Frog one we played was quite fun.
Flip Over Frog.
Yeah, I quite like that.
That's Hub Games. They had a few interesting games.
But that's just a quick little
Tile laying game.
yeah. Flippy
Flip frog.
Frog
Flip
thing.
frogs. I'm pretty sure that was what it's called.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Flippy.
flip Over Frogs. Yeah. But they were
Flip
also
Over Frog.
yeah the same publishers.
Okay.
The same publishers also did Mega City Oceania, which was on my list, and we had a little go at during the press preview because then it was like fully booked. Whenever we walked past, there were loads of people there. So this is the game that you're building a little building out of different acrylic pieces, which are representing glass and concrete and steel and so on. And then you have to, once you've got this balanced, you then have to try and push it into place with all the other bits of the city. So it's part dexterity game, it's part sort of working out how all these pieces will fit together. And I thought it looked lovely. And it was quite fun to try and build these things. It had to be a certain height.
Yeah, I had
from
a
the
quick
pieces you
shot
had.
of that, and I thought it was it
So you
seemed
did
to be
enjoy
quite fun. Yeah,
Because I kind of left these to it because it didn't appeal to me. Although I did pass it when they were playing it out in the expo, and there was lots of people playing it. But they had a nicer mat set up. They had a nicely set up.
yeah. When I played it at the press preview, I
Which is
was
on
on my
table.
knees on the floor trying to do it sort of quickly to get a feel for it.
But when you were at the expo, they had like an ocean playmat or something.
Yeah.
Right? So it looked really fancy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does look like it could be a fun game, and I think I would enjoy playing that.
Yeah. I was going to say I picked up that Snitch game when I wasn't sure about social deduction game. Really small, really quick. Quite enjoyed it actually. 5 minutes. It's almost like a. So you put out the number of minimum cards you put out are 2 up to the maximum number of players, and then you put them out, and they'll have pictures of like a locksmith, con man, a driver, and basically each person's got a hand of cards that are random. Nobody knows what each person's got, but they've also got 3 snitch cards. So everyone puts a card face down, and you say, right, I'll put the driver down. The player 2 puts down the con man, and you try to basically get all the characters that are in the lineup. If you flip them over, then you all get money. If at any point you flip them over and it fails, and there's a snitch on the table because someone's put a snitch instead, they get money. They get a penny from coin from everybody else. So it's kind of like it's just a traitor mechanic kind of thing. It's quite nice, quick enough. That was £10, so well worth the buy.
I bought Table is Lava.
You did. I see you having quite fun with that last week.
It's good, and it's very quick. It's very
AP.
silly.
How you get AP at a throwing game?
Yeah, throw cards at meeples.
You get AP playing golf or basketball probably.
But yeah, that was a good one. I like it. It's quick, it's silly, and you get to throw cards at meeples. So, yeah.
It's like a fun little party game, and it can't go wrong with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just
that's
so
good.
silly.
Well, you can't go wrong with party games, but the fact that you're saying you can't, that's quite cool.
Yeah.
Like Dancing Eggs, you can't go wrong with Dancing Eggs.
I don't think you can go wrong with a box full of rubber eggs anyway.
Nah.
Even if there wasn't a game.
I'd be happy to get a box of rubber egg. Yeah.
Well, I got quite distracted at the expo, and I played none of the games on my list.
Ah, okay.
None of them.
None of them. In my defence, 2 of them weren't there.
Not even
and-
sees the bean.
No.
No, you got to have a look at it though.
I looked at it though.
Because it was at
press
the
preview.
retail press preview thing.
And yeah, it's coming along. It's sort of entering final production. Apparently, they've sort of finalised their pieces because they have these gorgeous looking sugar cubes.
Oh, they look
Did
nice.
they?
Yeah. And then they had the wee milk cartons and
Yep.
the coffee beans. Looks pretty
Yeah.
cool actually.
So,
Like component wise.
component wise, it's looking amazing. Don't know how it plays yet, but we'll find out. Then Sierra West and La Stanza didn't seem to be there. I couldn't find them. And Life Farm was only available from the Saturday.
So we
And-
did have a quick look at
yeah.
that. And
Yeah, we got to
it-
talk to the
designer?
designer and
Yeah, and it
some of the
looks
team.
it looks really nice.
And then we went back on the Sunday to try to get a shot, but then it was sort of busy while we were. But it did, yeah, it's basically a version of Alien, the movie
Right.
Alien.
It's pretty cool.
The board looks really nice.
Yeah, so you got a whole ship to explore, and the aliens chasing you. But the alien, there's basically 2 alien pieces, and you're never sure quite which is the real
Yeah, so
alien
they show up as blips.
Oh yeah. So you
on
just
the radar. Yeah, so that does look really nice, and I was quite tempted by that one. It's finished its Kickstarter, and they're taking pre-orders at the moment.
nice.
But yeah, and they have very pretty games. So another one they had on display was Gloom of Kilforth, with the art on that is absolutely wonderful. I can't say anything about the gameplay because I don't know, but it just
But
looks
all
really
of their
pretty.
games look lovely,
yeah.
and quite different art styles
Is
as
this
well.
the company All or Nothing Productions, Breck?
Yeah.
That you were like, no. So you actually quite like it.
No, they were good guys. The games looked lovely, and from what they told us of the games, they sounded interesting to play as well.
That's
Yeah,
good.
apologies.
I played. What else did I go to check out? I can't remember. Oh, I went to check out Tainted Grail. I didn't play it. I ended up playing their new game Etherfields, which I have nothing to compare it to realistically that I can think of. The closest thing I can compare it to is Kingdom Death, but Kingdom Death is so in depth. It's like you start off by picking these masks, and you don't know what's in the back of the masks. And then on the back of the masks is abilities you get to use, but when you start the story, you get to keep one mask, and the other one gets put to the side. Each story starts with a tile, and the tile says something, and then you lay out the rest of the story in tiles, and you're creating this grid. And the cards can be split in half, they can be split in quarters, they can be split in thirds, and certain sections will say, if you go in this section, pig several green resources and choose this option, and it'll tell you to reveal certain cards and go further. So me and Chris went through the story, and we decided to do it the long way because we thought it'd extend the story, extend the gameplay. We ended up finding this werewolf lady, and she was big and scary, so we bolted back the other way, thinking we'd just get in the car and drive off. Because we're in this woods, the car broke down, and it was see a shadow in the woods, follow it, or get the car fixed. We decided to follow the shadow. Didn't like that. Try to get the car fixed, which then led to more story development. So the little section develops quite into a bigger story. And then when you've done that story, you put all that away. You've then got like this overall arcane spider's web map, where it's got like you can go to question marks, which are events. You can go to the shop. You can go to story sections and stuff. It's quite cool.
So it's quite a campaign, is it? Overall?
It's a campaign. It does look like there's a potential that once you've run through it a couple of times, maybe 2 times, you're not going to want to replay because you'll know all the options. But then it also looks like if you play through one section, you go hardcore into one route, then you want to go back and go the other route to see where it's going. So, I mean, I liked it. I like anything Awakened Realms does anyway, so I'm all over it. The Kickstarter is coming hopefully end of July. But it looks pretty cool. The miniatures they showed were quite big, but the miniatures you'll actually get are smaller, more useful because the big miniature on the map didn't look nice. The only thing was a bit weird. There's a turn system, so when you start the mission, you've got so many turns to complete it. But depending on your actions, you can add turns or you can lose turns. That's cool. I liked it.
Speaking of Kickstarter, we backed the Bloodborne Kickstarter.
You did.
Not to do with the expo, but it looks like it'd
Yeah,
be quite fun, and I love the video game.
Yes. That's
So
true.
that looked like Simon, or Come On, as they're now calling themselves, apparently. They'd had their expo at the same time. Because
Yeah.
we caught up on YouTube
Yeah, that was weird.
with them talking
Yeah.
about the Bloodborne.
Come on, games.
Simon, cool mini or not, I don't. Come on, game sounds really fruity.
I know, it sounds weird.
Nah.
I don't like that. But that's what they seem to be going by these days. A game that we saw, a little tiny game that we saw at the expo that I thought was interesting was Take 3. That gives you the Tetris pieces.
Yeah.
3-dimensional.
Yeah, these big, chunky, colourful, 3-dimensional Tetris-style pieces, or tetrominos, as they're known.
Alright. Is that an actual word? Or you just
Yeah,
made that?
tetrominoes.
Okay.
That's what they're called, the little bits in
Okay,
Tetris.
cool. Didn't know that.
So you get these things. You have to arrange them in a little sort of 3-dimensional thing.
There is a trick to it though.
Yeah, so it's
So I'll be arranging the pieces.
teams of 3.
Yeah.
So one person has to
Arrange the pieces.
arrange the pieces, but with their eyes closed.
No,
Yes.
you got to have your eyes closed when you're arranging.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, because I didn't see the person with their eyes closed. I seen someone playing it, but I didn't see the person with their eyes closed. I seen
No.
someone describing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Somebody's-
why they have to describe it, because
It's
they've got
two
their eyes
three
closed.
monkeys, isn't it? It's the
Yeah.
see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil,
Yeah, because the person that's got the card can see the image is trying to
but can't speak.
physically like
Yeah, the person who's got the
charades,
card can't speak, so has to
charades the design.
and then has to show somehow
the deaf person.
to the person who has to then explain
Yeah, to the blind
where
person.
to place it to the person who's arranging them.
Yeah.
And you can get 2 different boxes that have different cards and what, but then you can combine them and have teams of people playing against each other.
Yeah.
It looked like it'd be a fun little party game.
It does look like a good party game, especially if you're playing like 3v3 kind of thing, like a team. Be cool. I mean, even as a general, just a 3 just for a bit of laugh to see how far you get. It'd be quite cool. I found out Chris doesn't like those kind of games because I stopped to look at it. He went nope and stormed off. I'm like, all right, cool, Chris. Not that I wanted to try it or anything, you know what I mean? But yeah, so I didn't get a chance to try it.
Well, you didn't need to be going about with Chris, though, did you?
No, but if I wanted him to record and do anything like that, then I'd need it in there. But he kind of just hoofed off. So yeah, kind of like what we did to you when you started talking to that guy at Guildforce.
Yeah, that was a little bit different, though.
Yeah.
We were chatting for a while.
Yeah.
Something we had to go out and quite enjoyed was museum. Can you
Yes.
tell us about museum?
Museum is a set collection game, sort of set in the roaring 20s in the heyday of archaeology and museums. So you take the part of a museum and you're sort of picking up archaeological artifacts and then using them to buy other artifacts to put into your museum. And
So each player has their own
their own
museum.
player board they can
Yeah.
arrange their displays with.
And it's a set collection, was it?
Set collection. You can collect via various cultural groups or collect domains, which is like different objects, like all weapons or all books or all ships. That was one of them, yeah. It's a very nice game. I've actually brought my copy in to play today.
Excellent.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed having a shot at that game. I love the set collection aspect of it. I love Elysium. Is similar set collection mechanic. And it was a lot of fun. Really good game with some nice mechanics in it. Really pretty game as well.
Very pretty game. Because all the artwork on the cards are individual different artifacts,
Yeah,
so
beautiful.
it's completely individualised.
Nice.
That was good fun. And what was it? There was a public opinion aspect to that as well. They go against certain things. They didn't like certain digs or something.
Yeah, so you draw headline cards, and at some points you can say, "Oh, we don't like artifacts from Polynesia." So if you have your discard pile is considered like your back storeroom, and if you have cards at the end of the game from Polynesia, you get negative points because
Okay.
It
they're
goes against
'Cause you were
public
digging
opinion.
there,
Yeah. That was good fun. Another one that I think you've got is the Chronicles of Crime, which has a nice app involved with it. Now, sometimes I feel like the apps is just kind of an add-on that's unnecessary, but this one it allows you to basically look around the crime scene on your phone, which I really rather like.
So it's like a pseudo VR kind of thing.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. So you can look down. Oh, there's the dead body. Let's see what else
And in
is in the
fact,
area. Look for
They
clues.
did have a little VR add-on to your phone that you could use
Like a sort
when
of
you
viewer.
were.
Yeah.
But if you had your generic headsets you can buy for phones these days, you buy just generic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
phones
like a
this.
cardboard, yeah,
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah.
yeah. But the fact that you could look around the crime scene with your phone, you had to physically move it around, but only had a certain amount of time
Oh, okay.
to take in information, and then you had to think, right, what's relevant in this scene.
So is it cooperative?
I think it was, yeah.
Because if you've got the phone looking around, what if somebody else wants to look? Do you all have? Is it one app or is it everybody on the same app? Kind of like, do you have your phone and I have my phone and it's like linked games, so we can both look at the same crime scene at the same time, or is it I've got the crime scene and I'll describe to you what I see?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Oh.
But I was assuming that one person looks and then has to describe
Yeah.
to somebody else. No, we did that.
Or the detective
Yeah,
team.
because I was looking at it. I was
and I was
trying.
searching through the cards to say,
you were
there was
looking
a doll at
for
the scene.
stuff.
Here's the doll
I'm like,
evidence card.
there's a body of
Right,
a
okay.
woman. There's a next to a lake, and
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
yeah.
But that looks a lot of fun. And they also had a bit like a Stranger Things expansion. Or I can't remember actually if that was a standalone game or an expansion. But it's the same mechanisms, but with your group of kids investigating a mystery as well. Which looked
No, it
fun.
wasn't. It wasn't licensed for Stranger Things, was it?
No.
It was
But
like
I think it was
Stranger
sort of
Things
esque.
esque type.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that looks quite fun. And I like it.
Speaking of apps in games, you picked up a copy of U-Boat.
Yes. U-Boot.
It says U-Boot, but it's pronounced U-Boat.
I never actually
Maybe in
thought
Britain
of that.
it is, yeah.
Because it's the German. It's a German U-Boat. But
I've only just clocked that.
U-Boot.
Amazing.
It says on the box U-Boot.
It comes with a lovely little submarine that you construct from different levels of cardboard, and you have little sailors, submariners, that go on, that can
it's a
stand
sailor.
on the top. There's a periscope app which you use to look around for enemy ships, and
And it
I just
drives
couldn't
the game
resist.
along, and
People were likening it to Captain Sonar, and when it hit Kickstarter, it blew up.
it's not
I
really
think it's
Captain.
way more serious.
No, but at the time they were
Sonar-
likening it to it, they were saying it's the nearest thing to Captain Sonar that's basically that style of game.
Well, you do have
Where you're
different
cooperative.
crew members,
Yeah.
so each person playing will take
It's
on
more
a
in
different
depth.
crew role.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
very much so. It's more like a simulation, whereas
Oh, nice.
Captain
Sonar's
Sonar's more of a
party.
game.
Yeah.
And again, this is real time. It's timed by the app.
Captain Sonar makes me think more of battleships, but
Yeah.
a slightly more involved version of battleships with teams.
U-Boat's more of a simulator, as you say.
Yeah,
Huh?
you have to really think about what you're doing, where to position your guys.
You've got to feed them.
Yeah, you've got to feed them. There's a little like mini game where you have to sort out your ingredients. You get your navigation chart. You've got a little protractor and a ruler, and you have to like say right bearing such and such. It's really very in depth.
Yeah.
It looks so much fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be good. I couldn't resist that one.
No.
I'm very cautious often when it comes to big games like that, big and expensive games.
Yeah.
And I just went, ooh, yes, please.
It does look very nice.
Yeah. I picked up Nope, which is basically what I figured it might be. It's an Uno-esque game. In Uno, you try to get down to no cards, whereas this one, it's try to be the person with all the cards. So it's like a last man standing Uno, basically, which is pretty cool. It was like a couple quid, so I grabbed that. It's quite colourful and bright, and the card stock was quite nice, so it kind of, the quick demo we got was, happy, so grabbed that.
Oh yes,
Oh, Coma Ward.
that's the last one from my pre-expo list.
I'll sit back right now.
We sorted it out and went to have a play, and the first thing that you notice is actually the components looked like prototype components, and
And
But
it was
I don't
out.
think
It
they
was
were.
there for sale, wasn't
Exactly.
it?
So I wasn't-
Different stands had it for
For-
sale.
yeah,
The publishers were asking, was it 70 quid?
£70.
70, yeah.
yes, and
There was no like miniatures in it. Well, there was.
there were miniatures, but
They weren't really mini. I would call them player pieces rather
Player
than
tokens.
miniatures.
well, they were plastic sculpted miniatures.
They
But,
like,
yeah, they're
They
not.
were all the same.
They're
you know,
not like-
the painting, the scream, they look like
Yeah.
very low res.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, we played through just a little bit of it. So you play so far, and then a scenario is revealed.
So it's basically the idea of it is you wake up from a coma, or all of the players wake up from comas or something, and you don't know why you're in this hospital, and you have to go and explore rooms
Together.
Well, you can split up. And,
Okay.
Yeah, but the basic sort of mechanics are a bit like Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Yes. And to me, it felt like a missed opportunity.
But Betrayal on the House on the Hill has a random layout, whereas this has a set layout.
So once you're done, you're
Well,
done.
with random room cards.
Yeah, you randomly place the but the rooms are in a set area.
So they could have just created Betrayal on House Hill Coma Edition.
Yeah, pretty much.
They could have just reskinned.
And it also has the thing where halfway through the game, once a certain
Something
thing's triggered,
flips.
it sets off.
Yeah, it comes with
Scenario.
12
Yeah.
different scenarios, and there was expansions for more. But yeah, I was
It was not
disappointed.
fun.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't. I mean, I don't like Betrayal at House on the Hill
Yeah, but you still
because
do
I don't like games that have like that level of random things happening.
seems dim.
Yeah, so I felt like it was a missed opportunity because I liked the theme and it had some interesting bits. Some of the cards, it was it delusion cards? I can't remember, but there was
You had
something
like
like
hallucination cards.
And I liked some of the ideas, but I thought as a game it didn't really impress me. So that one's off my list.
Nice.
No, I mean, yeah, for the price they're charging for it and the quality of the components and what is basically a reskin of another game.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not for me.
Jason, do you want to tell us about the Exploding Kittens vending machine?
Oh yeah.
Because that was cool.
That's real. Did you guys go near it? Alright.
We went near it. A hand came out and
beckoned
us over, and we were like, nope.
So we were watching it because we seen it in the corner. It's a big, huge, furry vending machine. It looked like a big grey cat with a screen.
Yeah, with a screen, but it's not really a screen.
No,
it's
it's like a curtain that's got a split in the middle, a black curtain split in the middle. People put their hands through or underneath.
And there's
with
like
different
little signs.
It's got like a pinwheel that spins so it shows it's loading. But there's buttons, and then basically what you do is you go up and you select either £2 for a random item or one of their games, Exploding Kittens, Crabs or whatever. And you basically pick your item, push I'm done, it spins, it does a little animation with, it's just puppet, it's like a puppet show basically. And then a hand will put out, you put the money in the hand goes thumbs up, pulls it back in, and then it thinks it does some more animations, and then it just punts out what you're wanting, either through the slot, through the bottom or whatever.
Well, in your case, it punted out something you
so
weren't
I picked random item, just because it was £2, I was like, sure, let's see. And it threw me out a butternut squash that had -4 hunger written on it, and I was like, alright. So it was a bit strange, which I managed to pass on or leave somewhere.
Yeah, you left it somewhere, and then
I left it on the
a
Friday.
day later,
It's
or
still-
2 days
2
later,
days later,
we
still
seen
there.
it,
Yeah,
the same
it
one.
was on the Friday. I left it at a tournament I was playing in, and then I kind of just walked off. I was like, yes, I'm free. And then 2 days later, it was sitting staring at me when I was playing another tournament. So I was like, oh crap. So, yeah. That was pretty cool. It was a nice touch though. It was a good way to sell your game because it's a little extra. I feel sorry for those inside though having to do all the animations all day, but it drew a lot of attention.
It was very warm in there.
Yeah.
Another game I picked up was Great Fire of London.
I liked that game. That game's pretty cool.
So yeah, it's a nice idea. So you have these cones, red cones, which represent fire, and it spreads across the city.
I just remembered I bitched you over in that, didn't I? Got your location, you freaked right out. Just at the end, I'm going to burn your location down. That's what it was.
Oh, sorry, you do that to me every
I
single
know, but
game
I just,
we play, so,
I just remembered when I did it, you're like, how do you know you do this every game? I just remembered.
So there are certain locations you want to try and protect, and Jason was quite good at ferreting these out.
Now, it's designed by Richard Dennings, who puts on the expo, and we were taught it by his daughter, who was there, who was very lovely and taught us the game like very well.
Very good game. I couldn't like. We played it the night we were still tired and stuff, but I still got into it and enjoyed it.
It has a level of depth, but it is fairly simple to pick up and get in there.
It's nice mechanics in it. I felt
and a little bit different from other games. As a sort of an original feel to it.
I like the mechanic in that you choose where the wind blows the fire, and as long as the fire can go that way, you can crisp somewhere up. And then I like the bonus that you can get little explosives. We can just set off an explosive in a room somewhere and just blow up the whole district. That was really nice.
Yeah, so the explosives are supposed to be used for clearing it so that the fire can't spread in that direction, as opposed to just blowing up Breck's locations, which was quite fun. It's always good to just set fire to London, just in general.
One of the games I want to mention, which I got, which was a bit of a surprise, was Brothers. It was just a little 2-player game. Me and Chris were wandering back, and we just happened to see it on the side. And I was like, screw it, this will be the first game we try. Let's try it. We sat down, played it, and it was really enjoyable. Actually, it's you start off. There's 12 Tetris style tiles of grass, and you lay them out one at a time. So I lay one, you lay one, I lay one, blah blah blah, and then one player gets the 3 square straight pieces, and then someone gets the 3 corner pieces. So it's like an L shape, and you basically got to lay them in, and you're trying to fill out the zones. And at the end of the game, the person with the most on the board and the least in their pile wins that round. You then swap over, and the person that had the straights gets the corners, and vice versa. And then you play again, and at the end of it, you score up to 2 things, and the one with the least points wins. It was really good. Nicely done. It was only £10 for the production quality of it. Was really good. Solid. I've taken it home. I've taught it to my wife, taught it to my son, my 5-year-old. He loves it. He plays it all the time. He also plays it on his own, which is a bit strange because he just sees how many pieces he got, which is kind of like playing Tetris. So I played it with Chris. I think Chris and Iona played it.
We played it.
I don't know if you guys played it, but simple enough, really good game. I highly recommend it. It was strange enough that was my pick of the expo because it was just I like stuff like that. Yeah.
You also played Villagers.
Villagers. That was a Kickstarter last year, and it was on
Chris
show
had
last year.
picked it up in the Kickstarter. We played it just when we first arrived down.
Yeah. So I'll tell you now, when we played it, we did really well. See, on Monday night, tried to play it with Chris, Denise, and Alan. Chris couldn't explain a pencil to anybody. Honest to hell, it was the worst description. We got about one turn in, and Denise is looking at the cards, going, "I put this down," and then I'm like, "What about that phase?" And then what about that? Chris is like, "You're interrupting." I'm like, "No, Chris, you've explained the game. We've started. It's wrong. Like, let me go back. Let me show them a turn because it's easier to show one full turn, and then because showing a turn takes like 2 minutes and it's done." It's a lovely engine builder, though. I love it. You didn't like the randomness mechanic in that you.
Well, I didn't realise it was so few cards, so I was waiting on one card, and it was
scored big.
When we finished the game, it was the next card that came up.
Yeah, and it
didn't come up the entire game
because you shuffle up the deck and you deal these 6 piles of the number of players plus 2, I think it is, and then you leave the rest of it in a random pile, so you can choose from the main sort of like marketplace or the like a deck builder, the open space, or you can go from a random one. So I guess it's kind of hard because if you don't know about the paths, so like you get a graper becomes a vineyard becomes a wine cellar. If you don't know that path and that middle card doesn't come up, you have to then rely on one of the special cards. If you don't, then you're kind of screwed basically, and you just lose out.
But I mean, if I was more aware of that, if I played it again, I'd probably enjoy it a little bit more because
knowing it now, you know what to look for and stuff. So it is pretty cool.
We had a chat to the designer, Norwegian chap.
Yeah, it was a nice chat.
Yeah, and the artwork was lovely.
Yeah, he does the artwork as well.
Artwork's pretty smart.
Got a new game coming to Kickstarter later this year as well. Streets. Yes.
Oh yeah. Did you see anything about that?
Yeah, he had a prototype at the. Is that the press preview? Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah.
It's like a Carcassonne-esque sort of modern day where you're laying buildings on a street, and then you can sort of claim that street and then block off the other sides by making the streets go like perpendicular.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. So that's one to watch out for then.
Yeah.
Because Villagers, they say once you get through the initial understanding how the game plays through, because it's a wee bit difficult to explain to somebody, in that you're kind of buying cards to build cards, but you can only build certain cards. But then the generic miner, hare and lumberjack, you can buy anyway, but only in the build phase, not the buy phase. So just getting that across somebody, but once you understand it, it's pretty straightforward. It's enjoyable. So yeah, we played that.
That's what to say about King.
I picked up King City of Kings, which I've punched, I've bagged, I've tried setting up for one player.
Oh, that giant box on the Sunday. After you told us, don't buy any more big games because there's no more space in the car. You come down with the biggest box I've ever seen. It's not the biggest box, not the big. There are bigger, but yeah, I did buy City of Kings. I was an impulse buy. It was cheap enough, so I couldn't resist it. And then because Chris went and bought Outer Rim as well, didn't he? So, which is nowhere near as big as that game that you bought.
But I've managed to set it up for playing solo. But once I set it all up, it said, "Oh, solo play 2 characters." I was like, I'd rather just play 2-player then. So I kind of just packed it away. I haven't played it yet, so I'll get it out at some point. But it looks pretty cool. Looks quite in depth though.
We had a look at the Battlestar Galactica miniatures game.
I entered the sort of mini tournament they had on the Saturday.
And destroyed everyone!
It was based off of episode 33, sort of the first season episode.
It's the first episode of the first season after the mini season. It's the episode's called 33.
It's a good mechanic.
It's like where the
Cylons catch up with them every 33 minutes.
Okay, that's really weird.
It's not episode 33, it's episode 1. And the title
the name is episode
33.
Okay, I get you now. Okay, that makes sense.
So they essentially had like 33 players all playing a game at the same time where the
What,
Cylons
on
were
the same board.
Well,
kind of, it's like
around
a
the
long-
table.
a long L-shaped
A long bit of
board.
space, basically.
So,
Um,
Leila and I went up with Iona and said, right, we'll leave you here and we'll go off and we'll come back and see how you're doing. So we went off, had a look around and that. We were later, we come back. The guy who was standing, when he seen us coming back, the guy from the Aries booth, he says, she's vicious. And we said, we know.
I mean, how else are you meant to play those games?
And she trounced everybody.
Good.
She just wiped the floor with them all.
Nice.
I got a free game out of it.
Yeah.
So
Oh, you got a free game?
yeah, it was
What?
a free digital video game of the Battlestar Deadlock.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And you got
And
I was
Scar.
going to say you
a
got
wee
miniature, didn't you?
model.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Which you then bought the core set.
Also,
Yeah,
the Aries,
so-
the Aries guys told me that the next expansion for War of the Ring is coming out early next year.
Cool.
Hopefully.
Exclusive news.
So yeah, hopefully,
Yay.
because I've got the other two expansions.
Need to try that then.
Yeah, very good game.
We picked up a little game called.
Midnight Night.
Yeah.
We picked up a little one called Yeti in the House from Ellerium Games. So this is a Japanese company who do gorgeous looking games. And Yeti in the House is a tiny matchbox which has got a Yeti and a mountain and some Yeti footprints in, which you're just supposed to hide around your house and then take a picture and send it to someone, and then they can try and find the Yeti.
That sounds
which
pretty
is-
cool, actually.
Exactly.
That's a pretty cool game.
But I mean, I think they're probably better known for Tokyo Highway, where you have sticks and blocks and you put little cars on the sticks as you lay them across. And
Did you
at
see the
different angles.
giant version of that, by the way? I
I
was
wanted
like,
Really
to
nice.
go. I never had a
Yeah.
go, but yeah.
I do like it when they make these giant versions of games.
They're
'cause
so
just
impractical.
so pretty to
they're
look
so
at.
impractical, but they're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This room could be a giant,
giant
version
board
of
game,
Games
yeah.
Room.
Because someone that was giving away the giant Suro tiles. They're normally at the conventions. So yeah. But yeah, that's kind of my picks. I mean, I got a couple other bits and pieces. I got like exclusive UK Games Expo Keyforge decks. I got City Kings. I got Snitch. Nope. Yeah.
Ticket to Ride London.
I got Ticket to Ride London. I haven't played it yet, but Eric and that, they played it. They felt it was quick enough, but they didn't really give me full feedback yet. So I
Didn't
did
they
get,
play it yourself?
I did get that new Talisman Family Edition or whatever it is.
I thought the choice of the colours of the pieces were weird and
they're
Ticket to Ride
kind
London.
of pastely looking, weren't they?
Yeah.
They look awful odd.
I thought they would have gone with underground line colours or something.
Maybe.
Like that.
Or the whole red, white, and blue.
That's what I got. I got the States. That's a good game. I finally talked to friends that they liked that one. Yeah, Talisman Legendary Tales. It's supposed to be like a family edition Talisman. It's Talisman. I'm never going to play it. I'm going to find somebody else to play it. And then the only thing I tried was Epic, the card game. I had a wee shot of that from White Wizard Games. It's alright. I like it.
I bought Concordia.
Yes, you did. I like that game.
And we found you Spartacus.
Spartacus.
Yes, you did. And you got it super cheap too.
I got it for £55, but
With
it
the
came with both expansions and a promo.
Which is nice.
And
I mean, the box was a bit beat up, but considering the price.
it's not too bad. It's just a little bit rough. Everything inside was alright except for one card was a bit ripped.
It's a good thing Chris went in that walk.
Yeah.
The bring
And
and buy.
some of the miniatures are crappily painted.
See, the Bring and Buy just feels a bit the works closing down sale kind of thing sometimes, because it's just every game that's gone cheap, like Lords of Zidit and Mainframe. Everybody's going to bought them for a tenner, but put them in there for like 15 quid, hoping to make a wee quick buck. And then a lot of it, there's a lot of duplicates I find, a lot of the same game over and over.
Well, it's a kind of a sign that either that's a game you just play through once and think no, or it's a game that is maybe a campaign game and you've played it and that's that.
It's like when you go in a charity shop and you see Seen It and Trivial Pursuit, you're like, well, I'm not buying that then, because it's everywhere. So it kind of...
Another game that I got was Welcome to.
I didn't
Now
play
that
that
was good.
Yeah, that was the night that you were
one.
ill
I had a migraine that night, yeah. Chris was
with your secret pals.
not happy. Chris said he didn't like that game that much.
Oh,
He said he liked it when he was
He
there.
said he felt a bit weird. He wasn't sure about it.
Yeah, that's because he didn't know how to follow a rules explanation.
That's it's right.
You're saying that wrong. You're saying that wrong. What?
That sounds about right then.
I think he was trying to fill in for you.
Ah, okay. No one can fill it for me.
But now hearing that he's bad at teaching rules himself, I don't.
Oh, he's
I feel so
bad. Like, it's not that he's bad. He needs to slow down. He just wants. You could see he just wants to get playing.
See, I was just giving a brief overview. He's like, but I don't know what that means. I was like, I've still explained that. I'm just giving you a brief overview, and then I'll tell you what other things mean.
See, that's what I do, but then I do it for fun.
But no, I quite enjoyed Welcome to. I mean, it's what they call a roll and write, but without dice.
There's a lot of them coming quite popular now. Roll and writes.
But it was just, I felt it had a sort of bingo-esque feel to it.
Okay.
Where you're just turning the things and thinking, right, where can I put this? Well, can I fit this in here? And you get points for making up little neighbourhoods and stuff.
It's neighbourhood design, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're trying to get the houses with pools and other houses and getting them all in the right order.
Yeah, but
along
I
the street.
thought it was just a nice little fun little game.
Yeah, I do feel Roll and Writes should probably go down the laminated and OHP pen style things rather than notepads.
Well, we were considering laminating some of the sheets, and
it just feels like, yes, it's nice, that little thing, but you can keep different games if you want. If you're that kind of like, even like Seven Wonders, they give you a score pad. You can see the previous scores, but I feel when you get to the end of it, you then have to go and buy another score pad or photocopy, or you have to find some way which seems a bit meh. So just give an OHP thing.
Laminate it when you come to the last one.
Yeah, just laminate it. So yeah.
Yeah, and I also picked up the last 2 expansions for Time Stories
That you've never played.
that I've never.
That's
played.
what, 3 years now you've been collecting that?
4.
You'll play it one day.
I don't know,
I'm sure.
since it came out.
Yeah, you'll play it one day.
But this is apparently the final one in that season,
And
and
then
then there'll be something
new
new
one.
in the future.
Yeah.
Which I hear that the sort of second season type, whatever they're doing next, each one will just be its own standalone thing rather than
Needing
buying the
core
base
game,
set
yeah.
and then getting the expansions.
So kind of like the unlock games, they're standalones.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I assume they'll be like the unlock games. When you're done them, you can either just sell them on or trade them off to somebody.
I'll keep them.
Or you just keep them. Once you've completed them, though, if they're like one playthrough, is there kind of much point other than completionist or
Well,
collection?
I look at it like I'll watch a movie, but I'll watch it again knowing what's going to happen.
Okay,
in it.
cool. So you will play again, kind of thing.
Maybe.
So I know a lot of people buy the unlock
I'll need to
games.
play it first.
I haven't played the first time yet.
I know a lot of people will buy unlock games, and then once they've completed them, you see them getting traded all the time on Facebook and stuff or on BGG. So
No, I think once I play through Time Stories, I'll just keep a hold of them.
yeah, cool.
Unless I really hate them, of course.
It's a possibility.
Imagine you play the first one and hate it, and you're like, oh, I've got 12 expansions.
I have heard a lot of good things.
Yeah.
It seems like the sort of game I would enjoy.
Plus, you just got the acrylic promo set for it.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically Quantum Leap meets Groundhog Day. What's not to like?
Well, yeah, so that was my expo.
Yeah.
It's good fun.
Yeah.
Always a good weekend.
I enjoyed it, and it was tiring. We got there though. We did it.
We
We
got
got
there
back again.
after you were in the car just making faces at other cars and.
I made her day when I waved at her. She was so happy.
Oh, you waved at an old wifey, but you creepily stared out.
Family. I was bored. It's a long drive. Make faces at people. Why not?
Right, they slowed down on the motorway to stay away from the car we were in.
What about the guy that I was making faces at? He had to double take that. He was quite amused. I'm happy with that. Yes.
So we're getting together a bus next year then.
Yeah, that was thrown together, wasn't it? The idea of just getting a minibus and tripping down, wasn't it? I don't know if I could handle that. Bugsy not driving.
Well, I don't drive, so I'm not doing that. He's touching his nose,
Leaves me
Bagsy
and
not
Chris.
driving, but I don't drive.
There we are then. Excellent.
Yeah, so I mean, because Ryan's wanting to come, Tyson might come, so we could have a.
There we go.
Wheels on the bus go.
Oh yeah, I think that would drive you crazy if we just sang that and what's the one, 99 bottles on the wall. But we started like 999,000 bottles on the wall. And just work our
Might
way
get
down.
you all the way down to
See who
Birmingham.
collapses first and cries.
I think I would just phase you out.
You'd probably join in.
Nah. I think I would probably murder you first.
Nah.
Yeah.
Would you? If you murdered me, what would you do? You would have no one to argue with.
Yeah, then I'd kill myself immediately.
Oh, okay. I was like, you'd have no one to argue with.
Can we take like a water squirt bottle to?
Just like the dog that stamps.
We do that to the cat.
What's
I'm used to it.
what's his name? Is it Cesar in South Park? He's like "Tss" to the dog to Cartman, nips the neck.
Oh, yeah.
Just do that.
Caesar Milano.
Yeah. So one thing I want to mention.
whisperer.
One thing I want to mention before we go, it's totally irrelevant, totally not board game related, but watch Year of the Rabbit with Matt Berry. It's really good. I'm quite enjoying that.
It's that series?
It's only 6 episodes.
Yeah, so it's a series with Matt Berry in it. It's like Toast of London, but Victorian either.
Oh yeah, it's so good. So, yeah.
I've seen a clip of it. I've not watched it yet. I've seen a clip where he's like, "Oh, how does this thing work?" And he's on a bike. He's like, "I think you have to operate the pistons with your feet." He's like, "Let's go!" And he just falls over sideways.
It was the episode where he goes to an old folks home. It's not a spoiler, but he's like, old folks are dying, so he's investigating, and he just says to the nurse, "Are they doing weird things?" She's like what? And he's like, "Docking." Now, if you don't know what docking is, that's an adult thing. Google it.
Don't Google it.
Yeah, so it's just
Don't
like,
Google that
and he's
at
just
all.
like, when a fella takes his, and yes, and then he's like, "I'll leave it at that," and walks off.
Right. So what I want to know is, why does he only have one eyebrow?
Explains that it's a running gag.
All
You
right.
have to watch, yeah. But so yeah, that was that. Time to go play some games for you guys, and time for me, Mike, to start the shop. I'm gonna say bye bye from Jason.
Okay.
Say bye bye from Breck.
Bye. Bye.
Bye from Leila.
Bye from Iona.
Bye.
Bye.